he had max damage in a minute 30. Holy. Dude, just you know, a couple of 3 million real quick. You know, some light work 3 million per. Yo, what up, ZZZ Proxies? It's your boy Josh, and right before we head into the video, I just need to remind you guys that this footage is actually coming from the creative early access server. So any information, barring a lot of the information from the demos that are out already, are subject to change within this video in particular, but for the most part, a lot of it is pretty solidified information about Evelyn. I think this video should be coming out after Evelyn releases, but regardless, hopefully a lot of the numbers pretty much still stay the same so that we can show you the best of what Evelyn has to offer. And of course, to support more showcases like this, please make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and the like button as well. Give it a good old thumbs up for me right now. Thanks. Now back to the video. All right, now everybody, we are headed into our very first showcase. We are, I believe this is the showcase of the Marcato R5 at M0, and the damage is honestly quite strong. It is a very, very versatile weapon, and it's very easy to get off the ground. Gives you a lot, and I mean quite a bit of attack for a free-to-play W engine, and the damage is quite comparable. We are going to use the R5 as our base here. Then we are going to move straight into the Brimstone. We're going to waste no time, and hopefully we'll be able to showcase a little bit of the damage differential. As you can see, I swapped out the, I believe, the attack or the crit damage 4 slot for crit rate, because we want to make sure that we maintain the 75 minimum so that we can always be 100% critting. That's just, you know, good practice. Here the damage is actually quite comparable and actually does peak out a little bit higher, about like 5 to 10% on naturals, and of course that blows up a little bit more once you start to include a bunch of the other buffers, debuffers in the game. But as of right now, that's where we kind of stand there. And then we are starting to move into the Heartstring Nocturne. The Heartstring Nocturne, look how much damage this is. Ooh, that is a substantial amount of damage for most people. Especially the theory crafters. We have already crafted this weapon out to be around, what, 30% better than your other weapons. It's disgusting. So as you guys just saw, the Brimstone versus Heartstring Nocturne damage. Actually, the damage is somewhat comparable at base level. You guys might have realized that, oh yeah, this is just base damage. This is just raw base damage of the height of most, if not the majority, of the W engine passive. We aren't even factoring in buffs from Jshoea. We aren't even factoring in additional core passes. We're not factoring in stuns and all. All of that comes together to actually widen the gap much, much larger than you'd actually think, and we'll get to that very, very soon in the M1, M2, and even a little bit of M4 showcase as well. The damage from this team, this premium team, is absolutely absurd. And of course, if you don't have this premium team, there's so many different options in the free-to-play that you can run. But looking at the score, we get 108 million, which is very, very solid comparative. I believe what we tested before is 80 million for the Marcatos. The Heartstring just does 20% to 30% better. And now we finally get to M1, and this is where we're starting to see a nice little hike in DPS. The M1 allowing you to shred 12% defense, and 12% defense will equate to around, again, I would say 7 to at most even 15% damage differential. However, when I was taking a look at the damage numbers even that much closer, we even saw the damage numbers even hike up to 17%, which is kind of absurd. And, you know, testing a little bit more out on the battlefield, whew, this Mindscape was quite nice. It is very, very comfy, and you're actually going to get a lot more comfort moving into M2, which M2 allows you to refresh the burning embers off of your first refresh. I think it's every, 25 seconds this reprocs. It is a very, very comfortable Mindscape that'll allow you to rotate between your chains a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer, and let's say in your second or third every other rotation of chain, you don't necessarily always are going to have the right amount of EX special. Let's say you don't have enough energy regen. That's perfectly fine, because these extra burning ember refreshes are going to allow you to, inch out for that last fifth chain and growths and whatnot. So it is a very, very comfortable spot to be at. Is the damage that much crazier going from M0, M1, M2? I'll be honest, it isn't that big of a hike. And when compared to a character like a Miyabi, Evelyn is of course at the same tier of damage, but when it comes to jumping from M0 to M2, Miyabi just gets that much more of a power jump, versus Evelyn sort of just creeps up ever so slowly. It's still very, very strong, of course, but not as drastic as going from M1 to M2 on Miyabi, which, for more intensive purposes, I don't think Evelyn should do that. But now let's move on to M3. Now, M3 is just an increase in your skills, yet the skills are very, very vital to Evelyn's damage, as we are going to see here. We are going to get another nice hike up in damage. I believe another around 5% hike up in damage from M2 to M3. The M4, I believe, to M5 wasn't as much in testing, but going from M2 to M3, those extra skill percentages really, really do make a difference. Now let's quickly move into the M4 showcase, and as you can clearly see, I'm starting to switch around my drive disc orientation to make sure that we take away the crit damage and actually move our investment into attack. Like we said before, we want to make sure we diversify our attack investments, and boom, look at the absolute damage. We jumped our damage almost, I believe it was looking to be around 20-ish, 30-ish%. Like, we are getting a substantial hike in DPS increases here, and we jump over to some DA runs, and these DA runs were absolutely disgusting. This is where I start to actually finish these DA runs early and actually, out DPSing and maxing out on the damage score of things. And even though you don't necessarily have 100% super armor when it comes to a lot of your attacks and or immunity like Miyabi does, well, now you have M4 that provides the amazing shield that allows you to, get some resistance to interruption, which is amazing. And that shield is 10% of your HP, which you're only taking maybe little spurts of and splashes of damage every now and then from like extra miscellaneous things. That shield will help you protect from that, and of course making sure that you refresh that shield with your abilities will again allow you to maintain the shield, the interruption, resistance to interruption, as well as the big 40% crit damage buff that will allow you to offset your investments into more of an attack oriented build, which moving forward from M4 through M6, we are looking at attack to be the higher investment, and we'll talk about why that is just a bit. Then let's head over to M5, and I don't really do too much crazy testing for M5, but from my testing, you only gain about like 3 to 5% damage increase. It's nothing too crazy, but still a substantial DPS increase. And if you are wanting to extend from M4 to M6, hey, you still get the amazing 2 extra points into your skill there. So it's is it the best use of money? No. But let's move on to the M6 really quickly and start to talk about the Shadowstring Edge ability. This ability will allow you to start to add additional follow-up attacks to your basics, to your specials, and your EX, a la the off rotation portion of your Evelyn, and it'll allow you to add in another extra attack that's worth 375% of your attack. So this is where we start to test out a few things, namely triple attack as well as double attack pen. We'll get into that in a little bit, but this ability is absolutely absurd. And we also did some rotational testing trying to fix in some of these little extra basic and EX jabs between the chains of the stun rotation. But let's take a look first at the damage increase here. Actually, we don't really see a substantial damage increase pretty much at all from M4 to M6 aside from those extra 2 skill points. It's really not that much extra damage, if at all. Technically, it shouldn't be any extra damage because you're only majoritively gaining that extra Shadowstring buff. So the damage here is pretty much relatively the same in terms of numbers. Obviously, it's a little bit higher with the skill, but if you see that extra little tick there, the 54,000, that is the Shadowstring ability at work, and it's going to add, I believe, around 6 or so odd Shadowstring hits every rotation, meaning that you can max out on the 16 during your off-field rotations, meaning you get 55,000 times 16. That is a lot of damage. So now starting to show it a little bit in our DA showcase, and I don't really have time to fit it in. I try to fit in a basic every now and then, but it just so happens that I believe I miss out on one of the chains here, if I'm not correct. But yeah, it might not be the best idea to fit it in. Obviously, we get 3 chains and 1 ultimate there. There we go. That's the 4th chain and 1 ultimate, and not too shabby in terms of rotations. You did see me add in another 100,000, but was it really worth it? I emote. Yes, it kind of is, and within that stun window, it actually does make sense to add in 1 basic, or actually the E skill. You probably can just add in the E skill and then cancel, because as long as you cancel out of the E skill, especially, you know, in particular, let's say with your E to triple basic rotation, it actually counts as you maintaining the binding seal, which is really, really good. So as long as you cancel that, you should be relatively fine for most things. Now let's move into the showcase of the M6 at work, and as you can see, I can't even finish a full 5 chain rotation before Nineveh actually just runs off and disappears. I just absolutely demolish that HP bar, and whenever that HP bar is done, she tends to fly off and then cancel whatever chain or stun rotation you're in, XYZ, and then move into this stage where you're able to gain more time. So overall, we actually end up finishing with, I believe, 130 million score on Nineveh, this being one of our highest point totals of the entire evening. Well, that makes sense because of that extra additive damage that the Shadowstring buff can provide. Now we try it one more time here, and I believe my score is, I believe this is the triple attack run, if I'm not mistaken. Actual buffs, when it pertains to the Shadowstring, absolutely blow up. However, in the overarching, you know, damage calculation, you would actually rather have Pen in that position because of what Astra Yao can grant you. Astra Yao providing you with 1200 attack bonus, Lighter providing you with the extra res down, the fire bonuses on the additional core, and just regular core as well. So it is just, there's just so much coming from that, yet you can also still benefit from having attack and the Shadowstring buff being that it only derives from your attack. You know, we tried to test out that damage just a little bit, and to check the score, well, here it is. There's no way, bro. There's no way she actually just died. Oh my gosh. How much did we do? How much did we do? 153. 153. We are only allowed to do 3 chains before she cut us off. And then all that extra damage, imagine all that extra damage comes purely from the extra basic on the M6 skill. Yet that is not all, folks. We need to go further beyond. So we also not only tested the M6, but we also tested the Refinement 5 of the Heartstring Nocturne to see how much this extra crit damage bonus and resist down actually give us in battle. And from here on out, I'm just gonna let IRL Josh take over to show you the raw reaction of the M6R5. Take it away, Josh. All right, this is the raw reaction. Let's see how much Evelyn can do. Here we go, max morale. Oh my goodness, 35, oh my goodness. 300 per 300 300 per tick. There's no way. And let's test it on an enemy that can be stunned. Okay, boom, cancel. Oh, I can't get another chain then. Pop the burst. Boom. Butter. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. And then we only go easier. Boom. Imagine at least 5 chains, if not 6 max, on an enemy who has max stun window. Oh my god, that is diabolical. All right, let's take on the meat shield, huh? Do this. Charge up 2. Get us into chain there. Nice. Uno. Dos. Boom. Trace. Quattro. Boom. Oh, there we go. Boom, that's our 5th. Yep. We hit max damage. We hit max damage. There's no way. Technically, you could hit it faster, I think. And if I'm not correct, I think Miyabi M6 actually goes for just a couple seconds shy. I might have to do some research on that. And I wasn't even doing the full max, you know, jab to chain rotation. Ooh, maybe if we try that. 1:24. Let's try to get a faster time. Nice. Boom, cancel. Boom. Oh shoot. That doesn't kill our time actually. Weirdly. Hopefully it doesn't. Boom. That might kill our time low key. Up. Wow. Okay, so we can actually shave off like 5 to 10 seconds. So we can get a, I don't know if we can get a sub-minute time, but that is absolutely gross. What did you guys think of this amazing Evelyn showcase? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, if you'd like me to do more M0 to M6 showcases, please make sure to like the video and subscribe for more Zelda Zone Zero and variety gacha content. My name's Josh, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Go into this one. Holy cow. Evelyn.